My name is Mark J. Lumsdon-Taylor, and I am a partner and the head of ESG for MHA, lead UK member for Baker Tilly International, and we are here today to talk about the budget from the Chancellor and his autumn statement.
Hi there, my name is Dee-McCullough. I'm MHA's Sustainability and ESG Technical Director.
So, we're here to talk about the Chancellor's autumn statement, and at MHA, what we've decided to do from a environmental social governance perspective is look at it through that lens and see how we interpret what he has said. So, let's talk about the environment. Tim.
Some very big handouts for big industry, but not much for the rest of the economy, I'm afraid. I mean, when we think about, say, the renewable sector, wind in particular has had a really bad year. I mean, the government auction earlier this summer really was a disaster for them. There wasn't much in the way for renewables. Maybe some movement on hydrogen, greener fuels, but not much overall, really.
For me, it felt it was long on money, short on detail. And there are a lot of initiatives already out there. So, for example, the energy generator levy is already in place to try and support business in their transition by effectively tax incentives and offsets, but didn't seem very joined up today. And where's the piece around the mixed economy, if there is one, on energy? Apparently from March this year, hydrogen is key, but also nuclear is classified as green.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have to do a double take on the nuclear as green energy, I'm afraid to say. But if I think about the social aspect of things, I think certainly the changes to Class 2 and Class 4 national insurance, that will really help the self-employed. But will it? I mean, a lot of that increase will be taken away by inflation and fiscal drag. And what do you think about the social agenda?
I think the tax reductions, or if you like, the tax breaks, are welcome, particularly for those people at the lower end of the spectrum. And I think £400 worth of benefits a year might not sound a lot, but for some, that's a really material change. But whether or not that then improves their ability to move up the ladder, improves their socioeconomic benefits, and whether that then contributes economically, I think that remains to be seen. The other side of the coin as well, of course, is the national minimum living wage has gone up as well. I think 8%, 9%.
Yeah, it's around 11.41 now.
And what does that then do to margins in business who now have to accommodate that, and whether that then gets passed up the supply chain and the vicious circle carries on?
On the other hand, that could really assist some sectors with retention, for example, though, as you say, there is a net cost to the employer there.
And playing that narrative on a little bit more, in EV, they announced a £2 billion package for net zero transition in automotive. That's entirely welcome. And I wonder whether that, in fact, has an impact on the pricing of alternative electric vehicles, hydrogen-powered vehicles, which then in turn perhaps helps the consumer and the economy.
Yeah, personally, I would say we're probably a bit too early in the life cycle of that sector, really, to see what how that will outplay. But I think for a lot of the business sector, there's a lot that was left out, really. I mean, rural business was really left out. There was a few handouts there for hospitality, but for the vast majority of the economy, there's a lot that was lacking, really.
And to be fair, everybody needs to eat, and the supply chain around food didn't appear to get a mention at all. And we all know food price inflation over the last 12 months has been a major issue for people, which again leads us on to, I suppose, social and environmental governance. Your take?
Yeah, well, my day job is governance, and it has been for a number of years now. And when I look at the UK compared to what's happening in the EU, Europe really is leading the way on sustainability. We've had methane reduction legislation coming through, carbon reduction verification schemes. We've got the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And yes, there is a cost with that increased regulation. But for the consumer, for the investor, for society in general, that regulation does bring a net benefit.
I would be inclined to agree. I think for effective change in business, you need to have a regulation that backs it up. And the UK was leading the way in 2019 with the Task Force on Climate-Related Disclosures, which was then further enacted in 2022 with the European linkage, but also as well how we move that forward in terms of cascading that legislation seems to be missing.
Yeah, we do feel very far behind the rest of the world right now.
I hope that this follows through in terms of the forthcoming statements, because the legislation around environmental social governance, whatever the size of company, does have a material benefit, as you rightly say, and I think will fast track and speed forward British business to get more effective and compete on a global and international level. So your final kind of takeaway from the budget today?
Very empty. Not much to comment on, really.
I would summarize by saying this is a budget that did talk a lot about financial give outs. I think the devil will absolutely be in the detail, and we very much look forward to seeing what that transpires out. But again, for business, anything we do must be followed in ESG terms by effective, consistent regulation. For our latest commentary on the autumn statement, please visit the MHA website.